You will pay for that!
You saved us. Like I said, I'm a friend who's willing to help. And you are on our side. Thank you. So, you're not a real Stegosaurus? Well, it's a complicated story, but I will explain everything when we are far away from all these monsters. There are dangers everywhere, Spike. That's why I didn't tell you the truth. We better leave right now.
Please, Warlock, don't do this!
What's the matter, Pterodactyl? You have failed me once too often.
But I brought the pipsqueak back from his hole, didn't I?
Yes, and you were also late as well. You were supposed to bring back to me when we escaped the camps, but you didn't. And for all your faults, I, General Warlock, hereby sentence you to death!
No, please don't do that!
I don't know if you'll still be able to talk where you're going, but if you do, tell Petrie that I said hi.
So one of our Tyrannosaurs burst into flames? Which one was it?
It was the one that was bitten by the Midnight Dragon, Your Majesty. The same one that bit me? That's right. She's only a little dragon who can't breathe fire, but despite the venom, she could never bring down a giant like me.
The Tyrannosaurus fought the same thing, but he still met his untimely demise.
We still have others.
Yes, but we will capture that girl alongside the Pipsqueak and Stegosaurus, and once we do, they will be ours!
This feels very strange floating on a river in a raft, you call it? The humans created these, but you should have seen the larger ones. They were called ships. Well, this is my first time. Certainly not from the Jurassic. What's the name of this cave where we're taking the skull? They call it Man Forever, and it goes by that title because items from the Age of Man are hidden from the view of the Emperor's dragons. Anything man-made they wish to destroy. Okay, Spydra. I'm ready. Ready? For what? To tell you why I'm part dragon. Well, you did say that you owe me some answers. And I said that I will tell you when the time is right. And now that time has come. So I can tell you. This is my story. It all started when I was cloned at the complex. I originally looked just as I did in my previous life. But I wasn't the only plant eater. There was another dinosaur who was present. A very strange looking beast, certainly not from the Jurassic. His name was Trichon, and he was a three-horned dinosaur with a head shaped like a shield. And he told me what he was. A Triceratops, I believe that's what he said. It was either Triceratops or Triceratops, but Something tells me that it was Triceratops. But anyway, I was quite fond of him, and we were best friends. The area of the complex where we were, the dragons called it New Mez, and the chamber itself was to replicate the Mesozoic era, our time. And they told us that they were resurrecting our herds, and they would join us in time. But it never came to that. Triton believed, but I, on the other hand, had doubts. One night I couldn't sleep. There were so many unanswered questions that I needed to know, so I decided to leave New Mez and seek out the truth. I was going to awake Triton, but he was asleep, so I went by myself. In hindsight, I should have woken him. My journey began, and 1 minute I was in the New Mez, the next I was in a dark cave-like hallway, all alone. Eventually, I came to an entrance that led to a chamber, and this was where I would sadly find the answers. Once inside, I saw a lot of horrific things. There were creatures hanging from the ceiling and on life support. But one thing that they all had in common was that they were all failed experiments. They were half stegosaur and other armored dinosaurs that were part dragon, and that's when it occurred to me that the dragons were not replicating our lost herds. They cloned us not to bring us back to life and reunite us with our kind. They were going to turn us into hybrid monsters. I'd seen enough by this point, and I was just about to leave when something attacked me, and I was unconscious. I soon came round, and I was still in the same nightmarish chamber, but this time I wasn't alone. There were 2 dragons that were present, a red one and a black one. I see that you are awake. Who are you? Well, allow us to introduce ourselves. I am General Warlock, your creator.
And I am Dr. Batwing, your medic.
A general and a doctor? Creator? What is happening? Well, you came looking for answers, so I'm gonna tell you. You are to be the new generation of hybrids. For years, it was the theropods that were resurrected to become our soldiers. But aside from the failed experiments that you see around you, both you and Triton are to be the first herbivores to be given dragon DNA. New soldiers? Yes, new soldiers. So we have to change your appearance so that you resemble one of us. But I don't want to work for you. Oh, but I'm afraid you have no choice. We were halfway through your operation, but the oxygen tanks were low, and that's why you've come round too soon. So all we need to do now is put you back to sleep, complete your operation, and you'll be a bloodthirsty carnivore in no time. No, I will not be like you! Oh, yes you will. I cinched Warlock in the face and headed back to New Mez to warn Triton. But to my horror, when I got there, it was on fire and I couldn't see him anywhere. I called out to him, but there was no answer, so I had no choice but to leave. Eventually, I got out and was on the run, until I came to a very high cliff, and before I knew it, Warlock arrived. Join me, Solomon, and you'll be the greatest warrior that the world has ever known. No, never! If you don't work for me, then you're just another failed experiment, and you must die! was about to fight him, I could feel the cliff begin to crumble away beneath my weight, and suddenly I fell down the side of the cliff into a raging torrent that swept me away. After seeing me fall, Warlock must have assumed that I was dead and left. The stream raged on, knocking me about and crashing into rocks. I thought that I was a goner, until eventually I washed up on a shore and passed out. You must have been scared. I was, but soon I came back round. However, this time I was in a hut, and there was a young dragon looking me over. That was me seeing if you were hurt. I was in a lot of pain, and I couldn't remember a thing, but soon my memory restored itself, and I wanted to tell you the whole story, Spydra. So why didn't you tell me right away that you were a hybrid? Because it was what you told me about them, and, well, you thought that I would resent you and hand you over to them. Yes. I would have understood, Solomon. I know that I shouted at you. I had no intention of doing that. You were shocked and you couldn't believe it. That's right. I'm sorry that I couldn't save the chief. Don't worry about that. You saved Spike, and that's all that matters. Thank you for understanding. And thank you for owning up. You're welcome. So, aside from breathing fire, do you have any other powers? Well, I can hear thoughts, and there is a voice that only I can hear and no one else. I don't know who it is, but it calls itself the Keeper of Life, and it is the one that guided me through the complex, and that's how I made it. And as for Triton, well, I don't know about him. Maybe he survived and you just don't know it. Maybe.
Be on your guard, Solomon. Danger is arising.
Well, what's that? I don't know. I've never seen a Cryptoclidus like that before. It's not a Cryptoclidus, it's an Elasmosaurus. A what? Elasmosaurus, a giant plesiosaur from the Cretaceous, after your time. Well, I'm sure it couldn't breathe fire. No, it's another hybrid. I can't see it anywhere. It must be playing around with us. Ah! Spydra, help me! I can't swim! Help me! Don't panic, Spike. Calm down and we'll save you. Help me! Don't let me drown, please. You're not gonna drown, Spike. Help! Silver hoops! Spike, no!